We're going to start in the chest with pecto antebrachialis, pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, xiphi humoralis. Under the armpit is the latissimus dorsi. Peel that back and peel these up, and we have the serratus anterior muscles. They look serrated. Underneath the pecs are the scalenus muscles, the scalenes. We'll move to the neck. This big V, this is the sternomastoid muscle, which brings us to this big round masseter muscle. Underneath the sternomastoid is another muscle, the cleido-occipitalis, from the clavicle to the occipital, cleido-occipitalis. Sternomastoid, cleido-occipitalis, masseter. We have a big V here, the digastric. So each of these muscles are the digastric, and in between them you can see these striations going from side to side. That would be the myohyloid. Underneath the myohyloid are muscles that go off to the side. These are the hyoglossus muscles, and ones that go straight up to the front of the chin. These are the geniohyloid. I didn't ask you to know these, so don't worry about them. This right here would be representation of where the hyoid bone is. Now this muscle that goes from the sternum all the way up to the hyoid bone would be the sternohyoid. Off to the side, from the sternum to the thyroid cartilage, is the sternothyroid. This muscle above the thyroid, going from the thyroid to the hyoid, is the thyrohyoid. The small muscle that goes from this small bit of cartilage called the cricoid cartilage to the thyroid is the cricothyroid muscle. Now, not shown here, there is a small muscle that I have broken in my cat. It goes from the styloid process of the skull to the hyoid bone. It would be right here. It is small. It is the stylohyoid. Let's move to the arm. We'll start with the upper arm, and then we'll do the lower arm. This flap of a muscle here is called the epitrochlearis. We pull the epitrochlearis back, and we find the biceps brachii. Biceps brachii. And we see the long head of the triceps, so this is tricep brachii longus. In the forearm, staying on the front side, we have the palmaris longus, is the very obvious one in the front. To the radial side, we have the flexor carpi radialis, and on the ulnar side is the flexi carpi ulnaris. The only other one on this side would be this pronator teres. I'm pointing to the pronator teres. It's a little high. Usually it's not going to be that high. Look at the back side of the arm. In the shoulder, we have the clavodeltoid. This large triangle here would be the acromiodeltoid. And then we have this long one pointing towards the spine. That's the spinodeltoid. Remember, cats are smelly. Clavo, acromio, spino. This odd rectangle here heading towards the head, this is the levator scapulae ventralis. Helps to levitate the scapula. And now we're going to cover the trapeziuses. My clavotrapezius isn't well uncovered, but it's under there. Clavotrapezius. This flap right here is the acromiotrapezius. And then way down here would be the spinotrapezius. So again, cats are smelly. Clavo, acromio, spinotrapezius. You see that triangle. All of this, by the way, is still the latissimus dorsi. It's a giant muscle under your arm. Let's look under these. We'll go to the deep side. So looking at the actual shoulder blade, we have the supraspinatus. Remember, spine, above the spine. So this is the supraspinatus. Infraspinatus is below the spine. And then down at the bottom, we'll find the teres major. supra, infra, teres major. Now put his little elbows together, and we see a few more muscles. We've got the subscapularis. It's deep on the scapula. And if you look at the other side, there's a smooth, I'll look on this side. There's a smooth, flat muscle here. That's the splenius. So subscapularis is the part that's attached to the scapula. The splenius is the side of the neck. Coming down, this long strand, like a rubber band, that is the rhomboideus capitis, because it goes to the top of the head, capitis. And further down, all these striated muscles, so all these little striations, these are the regular rhomboideus muscles. So rhomboideus, rhomboideus capitis. Okay, let's head down to the mid-back. So it's a little out of order from your sheet. Now this one is a little complicated. What we did was we took the spinotrapezius and the latissimus dorsi and we reflected them back. And we have to tease these muscles apart, but you start to get these layers. This layer is the, pause?
Go ahead.
All right. So this would be the serratus posterior muscles. So serratus posterior, you can see each of these would be the ribs. So the muscles in between the ribs, these are the intercostal muscles. All right. And this long strand of muscle is called the iliocostalis. Above that is the longissimus dorsi. That one's going to travel all the way to the hips. It's a very long muscle. So iliocostalis, longissimus dorsi, and on my cat this isn't the most evident, but there's a small triangle here. This would be the spinalis dorsi. So we go iliocostalis, longissimus dorsi, spinalis dorsi. All right, in the lower back. In the lower back we have the longissimus dorsi again, and closer to the spine would be the multifidus dorsi. Okay, in the abs. So we're starting with the obliques. The obliques are really this outside big flap muscle. This would be the external oblique. I carefully peeled that back, and we have the internal obliques. Notice the striations are now headed this way. For the externals, they head this way. This gives us a full range of motion. The last layer is underneath the internal obliques. It's called the transverse abdominis. The striations head transverse. So external, internal, transverse abdominis. Now, in the middle of all this, we have these striations that go from top to bottom. That would be the rectus abdominis muscles. You can see these striations here. So rectus abdominis with the linea alba, or the white line down the middle. Heading to the legs. We'll start with the upper thigh. Now this flap is called the gracilis. We peel back the gracilis and we're going to reveal lots of little muscles. The one really high in the hips would be the pectineus, followed by the adductor longus, this long one right here. This big wedge is the adductor magnus or the adductor femoris, either way. Then we have the semimembranosus, followed by the semitendinosus, all covered by that gracilis. When we head to the top of the thigh, this long muscle would be the sartorius. So we peel that sartorius out of the way, and now we see what resembles a hot dog. Vastus medialis would be the inner bun, and vastus lateralis would be the outer bun. The rectus femoris goes right down the middle. That would be your hot dog. If you looked under there, you'll find a fourth muscle, making them the quads. The vastus intermedius is deep underneath. In the hips. So this muscle in the hips is called the tensor fascia lata. It is usually the tense muscle on people if they can't sit cross-legged. So tensor fascia lata. And we're going to rotate around to the butt. And in the gluteal region, the one high in the hip would be the gluteus medius. Then, so here's the gluteus medius. Then there's a dividing line right here. Oh, there it is. So here's this dividing line, and this muscle here is the gluteus maximus. So gluteus medius, gluteus maximus. In cats, the maximus is smaller, followed by the caudofemoralis. And then we have this very large muscle, the bicep femoris. It helps you to bicep, to bend your knee. It's got two heads, the cranial head, which is closer to the skull, and the caudal head, which is closer to the tail. So cranial and caudal head. If we peel that back, we've got the sciatic nerve. Okay, moving to the calf. So peel all that out of the way. The big calf muscle is called the gastrocnemius. Peel it back, and there's a slightly darker muscle attached close to the same area. It's the soleus. And these two are attached at the Achilles tendon. Rotating in a little bit, we have the peroneus muscle. So this is the soleus. This would be the peroneus. Rotate this way a little more, and you see this split. This would be the extensor digitorum longus. And if you followed the extensor tendons, you'd see that it goes to the front of the foot. So extensor digitorum longus. Tibialis anterior covers the front of the tibia. Then we have the tibia, that bone. And this would be the flexor digitorum longus. The tendon for this one goes to the back of the foot. So flexor. And then we're back to the gastrocnemius and soleus again, both attached to that Achilles tendon. But that's it. That's the whole cat, head to toe. Good luck.